Welcome back, everybody. Today we're looking at a Splawn Quick Rod. We're going to see if we can do a little modification to this guy to make it so the customer doesn't have to use a foot switch to switch between the two overdrive modes that are otherwise inaccessible on this amp. So I'll put an excerpt of the user manual on the screen here so you can see what we're talking about. But basically, this foot switch, you can get a 4-button foot switch for this guy that plugs into these 2 points with TRS jacks. This A connector, the tip and the ring in association with the sleeve of the TRS jack, will toggle between overdrive 1 and overdrive 2 mode, and then also a solo volume. So our customer is looking to access that OD1, OD2 mode, which I think, if we're lucky, is basically just shorting the, let's see, the manual even tells us it's the ring. So it must be connecting the ring to the sleeve of this terminal. Now, if this is a switching jack, we can just jump her off that. And then luckily this amp has been modified before, so we don't have to drill a hole or anything. There's a hole on the front panel. We might be able to just put a switch in. This could be like the quickest mod ever. But let's see. Let's get this amp opened up and take a closer look. Taking a quick look at the top of the chassis before we flip this thing over. We've got hay-powered transformers. This one almost looks like it took a little bit of a hit at some point. We'll make sure that this is nice and secure. But it seems it's not loose on there. So it may have just gotten bumped at some point. Got JJ tubes seemingly throughout. Yep. This one guy is a mollard in our V3 position, maybe. This one here. But 12AX7s going all the way through. Yep, ECC 83. JJ filter caps. JJ power tubes. EL34s. Seems like it's very well built. Let's flip it over and see what we see. Okay, this is maybe more for my benefit than your guys's, but I've actually never been inside a Splawn amp. So kind of curious to see what's going on here. It does look like we have, you know, the new wave of PCB. Nice, relatively thick PCB. We have a foot switch board here with some optocouplers to do that switching, ideally for some silent switching. So these guys have an LED inside along with a light-dependent resistor and LDR. And we'll change the resistance based on whether or not they're seeing light. They act as an on-off signal. But yeah, otherwise looks pretty standard for what I would assume is just some sort of expanded version of a Marshall, like a JCM 800 or something, or similar circuit. Okay, so we do have right here, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a spot where we can potentially mount a switch without having to drill a hole. And what we're looking to do would be to bypass this switch. So we want to connect this would be tip, ring, sleeve in that order. And we want to connect the ring, this position, to the sleeve and have that on a switch. So this is not quite as easy as if this was not attached to a board in this way, but still doable. Let's beep this out and see if those connections go anywhere that we can tap into easily on this board without having to actually pull the circuit board out. Okay, so I've got my meter set to continuity mode here. So it'll beep. And basically can just blindly poke around the circuit, I would imagine. Yeah, okay. So it's going to this side of that optocoupler. And then what about the sleeve? There's probably ground. Yeah. So we could just tap into ground anywhere, or even use chassis mount ground, or go to the back of that pot. So really, we need to connect to right here. Does that go anywhere else on the board, or is it just there? Okay. And we need that to connect here. Now, before I do like a powered test with this, just because this is not my amp, I want to test that theory in an unpowered way. So I'm going to grab a TRS jack, I'm going to plug it in here. I'm going to short those two terminals together on the jack, or sorry, on the plug, I guess. This would be the jack. And then see if that theory holds true. So let's grab a TRS plug it in, see what happens. Okay, so here is a TRS plug. TRS stands for tip, ring, sleeve. This is the tip, that's the ring, that's the sleeve. We have 3 points. So we can beep out what each of those connects to, or you can visually look. But this is going to be our tip. This will be our ring. And then the exterior will be the sleeve. So again, if we're trying to get the ring to the sleeve, let's go ahead and plug this in. What I'm going to do is just connect these two things together. Right? So now we have continuity between those. We don't have continuity to the tip. And let's plug this in. Now, if we double check those same connections we were looking at before, again, here goes to this side. This is a switching jack, so I now can't get my continuity over here, but I have to go over here. And this side should still go to chassis. They're connected. Neither one's connected to the tip, which is this terminal. And do we now have, yes we do, connection from right here to chassis ground. Okay, so it could be as easy as that. Let me see if I have a switch. We'll want a single pole double throw switch. I can draw out what that looks like for you, and hopefully can just drop something in right here. If that's the case, I'm wondering if we should. Wonder what the best way to do this. Maybe we will just solder a wire that can just barely wrap around that point and then run down to our switch. I might pull this board just to confirm that that's the best way to do it, but I'll grab a switch first and take a closer look. All right, so before we get too far, let's talk about switches for a second. These are pretty shoddy illustrations, but single pull, single throw means we have a single position that basically makes contact. So this would work for our circuit. We only need to connect two things or have them not be connected. I don't have one of these in the proper size and configuration, so we're not going to use this. But we can look at, like, if this is the lever of the switch, right? It would be the same as this guy, except for without this bottom terminal. Now, in the position that it's in, the switch is making contacts going this way. So it's connecting our common, which is the center pin, to this outside contact. So imagine that's not there. It's just connecting that center pin to nothing. When I flip the switch, that's our single pole, or I'm sorry, that's our throw, rather. We would connect these 2 points. It basically is pushing something up to connect internally those two. Now this is a single pole double throw because we have a single point that can be thrown to two different points. At least that's how I think of it. We can use this and just not connect that other terminal, right? So in one position, if we were to wire, let's say our sleeve goes here, and then our ring goes to this position. when we're in this position with the switch up, nothing's connected because our sleeve is connecting to nothing. It's just floating in the air, same as it is in the amp. Now, when we go to this position, move the switch down, we're now connecting the ring to the sleeve of this jack. Back over here. Here we go. Of this jack, same as we just did with this plug experiment. And that, in theory, if the manual is correct, will switch our OD1 to OD2 mode. And at the very least, we'll definitely connect this point to the chassis ground. So we can just use a switch like this. That should fit. There's a very good chance that that's what was in that position at some point, because it seems like that hole is the right size. I'm going to see if I can get the plug that's blocking that point of the chassis removed easily, but that may be the most time-consuming point or part of this whole process. Okay, update to come in one moment, or several moments for me, one quick moment for you. Okay, I lied to you guys. I did have a single pull, single throw, so we're going to throw this one into the amp. So we've got the switch wired in place here going to the front. And now there was something that I realized as I was about to hook this up. So I was going to go between this point and ground. Now, if I'd done that, if someone plugged in to the foot switch and the state of the switch here conflicted with the state of the foot switch, this one would have won out no matter what. Basically, would have made this foot switch inoperable for this function, which I didn't really like. Now, this is a switching jack, so when something's plugged in, these terminals on the left are disconnected from the ones on the right. So what I did was ended up going under the board to these two positions, so that now when someone plugs in the jack, it'll basically disable, or if someone plugs something into this jack, I should say, it'll disable the switch on the front. But I'm going to test that here with our continuity meter, just to confirm that this is going to function in the way that I think it should before we move forward and power it on. So right now, there's no continuity. If I flip the switch, we have continuity. That's what we want. Nothing between these, just to make sure. No, we are now. Oh, it's because these two are connected by default. Okay. That's good to know. So now if we plug something in, let's plug in our TRS plug. And now we should have good, nothing, no matter what position this guy is in. But if we then short these together, we do. Okay. So this is good. This has made it so that whatever's going on with this jack, or with this switch, if someone plugs in something to this jack, then this is going to override what's going on the front. So we kind of future-proofed it and made it so that if our customer does decide that they want to use a foot switch in the future, there's no problem. We don't have to unmod the amp. They don't have to figure out, which position this switch should be in. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to plug this thing in and just do a quiet sound test to make sure that this does change something. Should switch from OD1, overdrive 1 to overdrive 2. No idea what that means. Probably just a different voicing, but we'll find out. Okay, so going to do a quiet kind of sound test here, but there's our OD1 and OD2. Let's go ahead and test the functionality of bypassing this. So if I plug something in, let's see, going to plug in our TRS jack. And now it doesn't matter what I do here. Okay, great. Seems like we have a successful mod, non-destructive, meaning that the amp operates as it otherwise would. Didn't have to drill any holes. Really, that's kind of the only modifications I like to do on amps. So yeah, looks like we're going to be good. Thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you on the next amp.